Have you asked yourself a million questions about whether or not you are your partner's parent? When will your partner change? Why is my partner a child? When will they pull their own weight in the relationship? Maybe you've gotten to your breaking point and vented out all of your frustrations to your partner, but it fell on deaf ears. Or you just stopped doing anything for them so they would understand how much you truly do for them, but nothing seems to help. If you've asked yourself these questions, or you're at your wit's end, maybe you've been a Wendy for a childish Peter Pan. So today, we're talking about Wendy Syndrome. Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm a certified coach. I specialize in abuse recovery from narcissistic, sociopathic, and psychopathic abuse. Wendy Syndrome, like Peter Pan Syndrome we talked about last week, was coined by psychologist Dr. Dan Kiley in his book, The Wendy Dilemma, When Women Stop Mothering Their Men in 1984. So what is Wendy Syndrome? Wendy Syndrome is characterized by one partner who is more mature, prioritizing their needs of their partner first, by sacrificing themselves and feeling like if they aren't with their partner and doing everything for their partner will somehow spontaneously combust or make them go bankrupt in a blink of an eye. You can't trust them to do anything, and this makes you feel like you're not even in a relationship. It makes you feel like you're a parent instead. With Wendy Syndrome, the person who feels like they're in the caretaker role doesn't have to be a woman. It can be anyone, but women are still more prone to experience this. One of the main characteristics of Wendy Syndrome is prioritizing the needs of others. They always feel the need to care for others, and they often tell themselves that they enjoy taking care of others, and claim that sacrificing all their needs, dreams, and desires makes them happy. It often becomes the only way a Wendy can feel like they can be loved or matter in some cases. This stems from codependency and growing up in toxic and dysfunctional households. When we have grown up in these households, we are often seen as useless unless we can provide caretaker services in the forms of babysitting, cooking, cleaning, or fixing something for someone. There is also a fear of being alone with Wendy Syndrome. How could you possibly have any meaning if we have based our lives on taking care of people with no person in our lives to take care of? It often makes Wendy's feel like they have no purpose in life or no value. This also ties in with not being needed anymore by someone that you love. Wendy Syndrome is truly a huge form of self-denial and self-gaslighting, avoiding the needs of themselves so they can keep the peace. Keep everything together while everything internally is falling apart. This is often why Wendy's end up with Peter Pans. Wendy's are often raised by abusive, toxic parents, and often those parents are narcissistic. And what does a narcissist act like? A child, aka a Peter Pan. Chemistry is just familiarity. What you've known your entire life will be what feels safe or comfortable, even when it's not. The toxic form of love Wendy's experienced from past relationships and toxic family members has caused them to believe that love is self-sacrifice, self-sabotage, and depending on someone else. It also comes from a feeling like if the person with Wendy Syndrome just keeps giving and giving, that they will get something in return. But that may never happen. It's just because it's not the actual act of doing something for someone. It's the response the person gives, Wendy. The good job they hardly heard as a child, or the you matter, or I appreciate you. Even in tiny doses, it is a deep wound from childhood and a chance to feel like you are needed, important, and valuable when you were told as a child that you were useless, stupid, and unworthy. Wendy Syndrome stems from feeling like you were powerless, unsafe, and unable to take any form of control in childhood. Wendy's often try to control their partners by taking care of them, making sure their partner feels like they can't live without Wendy, even though it's draining and exhausting. This feels like the only thing a Wendy could have a say in, pleasing the partner regardless of how toxic, childish, or parasitic they are, because they feel like maybe this will be the time something will change. This behavior is the fawning trauma response, the response to please and care to avoid upsetting someone to keep the peace. Individuals with Peter Pan Syndrome often came from overbearing parents or permissive parents, and often they're looking for a parental figure, and that's where Wendy comes in, who's acting as a caretaker in a parental way, which leads Wendy to feel undervalued and used, as the partner will take Wendy for granted and brush away all the care and hard work Wendy has done. Even though you may be experiencing Wendy syndrome, it's not a diagnosis. It's not something that you have to live with forever. It's important to understand helpful terms we can use to describe what's happening in our lives. You can change this. You can start finding value and happiness on your own. It's a process, but balance is essential for healthy relationships. It's important to take care of ourselves before we take care of others, so we aren't exhausted and dysregulated emotionally. We have to remember that love is give and take. It's not take, and take some more. Relationships always need boundaries to be healthy. You have to be able to say no and still feel like you're able to stay safe in the relationship. Healthy people respect boundaries. Love does not mean give up things you love. You and your partner are allowed to have different interests and hobbies and still come together with things you have in common. You also deserve to have someone take care of you and give you back what you gave to them. The 3 most important things we can do for ourselves is to 1, be comfortable by ourselves. Learn to relax and be okay by being by yourself. Being on your own or being alone doesn't mean being lonely. Learn who you are and learn what you love outside of relationships. 2, learn that boundaries are essential. You can't keep sacrificing yourself. Boundaries will feel like you're being mean, but you aren't. You are important and your needs matter. No one should ever be walking over you. And 3, learn to see reality for what it is. We can't project our dreams and hopes onto other people. We can't force someone to care about us. We can't rely on someone for validation. We have to work on that and hold space for ourselves. Be kind to yourself and give yourself the time others didn't allow you to have. If you like content like this, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's break the cycle. I'll see you next time. Stay safe.